What's up guys, back from a new video here. Now is, I think, video 5 of the four-wheel drift prep, and it's going very good so far. So in this video we have, again, many different things we're gonna be doing on the video, and one of the first things we're gonna do is the installation of my YSFAB axles. If you guys didn't know, YSFAB does make axles now of many variations of diffs and hubs and stuff like that, but we went with the standard winters to their spline as well on the hub. So these are very important to have because the other axles, are known to break at certain areas, and these axles were actually made to twist and take the abuse, and there is a line on the axle to basically show you the amount of stress and wear on this line here. And this line here does tell you how much wear the axle is taking on and the abuse, and the more it twists, the more you know when you have to replace them or check them out. They do come with their hub, so whenever you get the axle, it comes with just the hub here by itself, but these studs are ARPs that I installed. I highly recommend switching to this as a reliability standpoint, to where you don't want to break any studs, and the studs that come with them are kind of small. So I would definitely suggest doing the ARP studs on the hubs. If you guys didn't know, these are, I think, the same knurl as the S14 front hub. So like a G or a Z ARP stud will work with this hub. So, and then I ordered some just normal S chassis bearings, and we pressed the hub into here and then pressed these studs into the hub as well. It also comes with these adapters. These are the adapters that have to go onto the winters itself. You bolt these to the winters and the axle to these, and then so on. So in the last video, you guys did see us install the rear YSFAB suspension, and it looks sweet. And now it's time to get the brand new axles into the car. First thing in this video, we'll go on to the other things we have coming later on in the video as well. And it's just gonna be a lot of stuff happening in this video as well because of time, and we're still on schedule, guys. So let's get to installing the new YSFAB axles. All right, first hub going on. Simple, I think 12 by 125 bolts, 4 of them. All right, one hub installed. All right, hubs are on both sides. Looking snazzy, some nice ARP hardware, fresh and new studs. Oh, I love it, everything's brand new. It's so nice, love it. Okay, now it's time to get the axles in. Well, adapters first, then axles. All right guys, it's once again the next day. I was out working when I got back and some magic happened. Eric did get my new CSF Drift Radiator mounted in the car. You guys just saw it in those previous clips right there. I wanted to do a whole unboxing, but time just didn't work out, but it looks beautiful. It is insane. It looks like it cools itself. But I'm officially working a CSF race this year. If you guys didn't see it in the previous videos, I do have the new intercooler with our custom billet end tanks with a CSF race core. So man, I mean, just working with them is a huge honor. They've been around the game for a long time, and a lot of people that are the best in the game use their products. I'm happy to add myself to that list. So, of course, we're here at Ninjuku today, getting this thing basically mounted in the car. I was not here, but Eric did an amazing job getting this thing placed and mounted perfectly. Now, this is officially the biggest drift radiator on the market, and it looks awesome. It is a dual pass core for maximum efficiency, and it should be more than enough for what we need. I have seen the test results on this radiator on another car, and the temps didn't go above like 180, which is insane. And prior to that, with my old setup, after one lap with the front radiator, we're at like 210. After two real hard laps, we're at 230, 225, 230, which is like pushing it, and the longevity of the engine would probably be a lot shorter if we kept it that way. So with this, our reliability and efficiency is very high. So the inlet and the outlet are -20 ORB, and these two ports here are -12 ORB for sensor mounting and bleeding. It does come with two humongous SPA brushless fans. These things are no joke. Earlier today, I pulled up to the shop and they tested them for me, and my reaction says it all. As you guys can see, it's really hilarious. Like, I was not expecting them to do that much, move that much air. It's freaking crazy. And included in the package from CSF, it comes with two pigtail harnesses for your huge SPA fans with all the proper wiring that you need. This is for sure the baddest radiator on the market, and I cannot believe I have one. It hit the market hard today, and everybody that ordered one finally got theirs. Been waiting about 2 to 3 months. I saw this thing at SEMA, and I was like, I have to have one of those. And I'm lucky enough to be working with CSF this year. We're officially cooled by CSF this year in Formula Drift Pro Spec with our radiator, and of course, our new and improved intercooler with the custom billet end tanks. So now the radiator is mounted, and thanks to Eric for that. Thank you, Eric, did an amazing job. And now it's time for me to get some lines plumbed. But we gotta do a few things to the fittings because I have to basically have this a little bit of a mod to the fittings so we can have it be spaced out so the fitting can look nice and be placed properly and not look kind of janky. All right, first things first, we have to basically space this out. I would love for this to go on kind of straight on like this, like a normal fitting, but it would have to kind of go out here and it would look kind of funky, I think. I'm still on the fence about it, but really we have to space it out here like that with this fitting. Basically, we're gonna have to weld this into this and then lathe this down so it looks nice. And then this will go out and go straight down to the tube coming to feed the radiator on the hot side. So if you guys didn't know, the top side is the hot side on this, the bottom's the cold side. So now we have to plumb all these -20 lines from the new structure we made in the bottom, from the tubes, from the front of the engine. Once the main lines are done, we will then proceed the -10 lines to feed our swirl pot and more. All right, guys, it's a new day. And again, it's a pretty hectic day today. I don't know where I was in this video. It's been crazy busy the past week. Just been hustling with normal work life, plus FD life, race car life, all the above. It's just been crazy for me. But as I was gone, Eric did a lot of work to the car. And also I got here today and started just going because we do have my old PMU harness that was in the car. We remodified and rewired with the ECU Master PMU Tefsol flying lead harness for all the new stuff because of time and stuff. We had to just do it that way. And thankfully ECU Master overnighted me a flying lead harness to finish the PMU harness. So thanks to Paul over at P-Spec, good friend of mine, he rewired the entire PMU harness for what we need for the new ECU Master PMU 24, and then the new accessories we have in the back of the car, like the brushless fans from CSF, and as well as the electric water pump down here. So as well, you guys can see here, Eric made these really cool plates here, basically to have and separate all the hot air from everywhere else, because this would have just circled and circled and been a big air pocket. I kind of mocked this up, mounting this here. It's probably where it's gonna go. Oh my gosh, so much stuff to talk about. And then once this is all done, we'll get this powder coated too. And then I got the harness in the car, all in there. Doesn't look amazing right now because I'm still not done yet, but it's all in there. It's all ready to go. And FD spec kill switch is in as well, but all the good stuff is in. ECU Master PMU 24. Got the isolator right there, wired to the kill switch. Got the FD spec CAN bus data logging cable here for Kevin to plug into if needed to. Just a bunch of craziness going on, guys. It's crazy. And then, oh, also, he got the Simpson shift boot all mounted in here nice and new. And then, finally, my Nuke Performance fuel cell has arrived. All right, it's me again. We're back. This video has been a lot of B-roll. I apologize about that. I've been filming as we go, doing a lot of different things. I've been coming in and out of the shop while Eric's working on the car and I've been gone. So it's been a lot of getting stuff done type of stuff. So as you guys just saw, you saw the new Nuke Performance 7-gallon light cell with a sending unit in the car, mounted up, looking all fresh and new. So, but now we have to get to the point where we can put some pumps in it. So right now there's a cell mounted up, all nice and painted. It's final assembly, it's already done in there. And now we have a bladder in there, light cell by Nuke Performance, 7 gallons. So we shed a lot of weight compared to the 10.5 gallon we had before. And then also some space as well. So we wanted to really save some weight with having the radiator back here. It's gonna be a lot of weight back here. We put everything as far forward as we possibly can. We wanted to put the cell in there, but with time and stuff like that, it just was like not ideal. And then building a box around it and all the extra stuff, it's just like, I don't know yet. I mean, I get why we want it there. Freddie wanted it there too, but it's just here for now. So, and I actually didn't mind it here. So we're gonna go with the flow, see what happens. But that's there. All the Dash 20 lines are now built and in, as you can see here, off the radiator into the water pump. All the wiring's actually plumbed back here too. My old lines are also on the car as well, and they will work fine with the new setup. We did change a few things of routing and stuff. Wiring's going down here. And then this stuff here is gonna be all off the spin-off filter and all that kind of stuff there, but it's coming along pretty good. So this year we're changing it up to get some new fuel pumps and new fuel delivery stuff from Fuel Lab. I finally have the opportunity to work with Fuel Lab. My friend Derek Madison works there and Tanner's over there as well. They do a great job, make great products, and we're switching to all their products for some of the fuel delivery in 2026. We are still partnered with Nuke Performance, with the cell, the sending unit. I've been with them for a long time, and Fuel Lab's helping with the pumps itself and a regulator and some filters. So it's nice enough to let me do both partners to you know, service certain things, because some partners don't make cell and product. So Nuke Performance makes the cell and the sending unit. Fuel Lab does as well, but we have the compromise of using Nuke cell and then Fuel Lab pumps, because we got to use those. So I'm pretty stoked on it. I am excited to get these pumps in the car. These are we have our fittings here to install on a regulator, and then we have extra diaphragms as spares in case we have a problem, which we won't. And then right now we're going to install just the pumps in the new performance sending unit to get it in the car so the car can freaking run. So now it's time to get the Fuel Lab pumps in the new performance sending unit. So I'm probably gonna do a time lapse and start working. My deadline's quickly approaching and I'm trying to get things done, guys. I've shown most of the stuff to you guys past few weeks with the car, and there's some things I had to just get done, and this whole process of stuff has gotten kind of like delayed of parts and time and this kind of stuff. So now we have everything here. It's time to kind of hustle, get it done, get this thing running so we can go tune this motor, the 3.0 engine on the Link, and then come back, take it out, put the new engine in, and start really dialing the stuff in, putting the new BC shocks on, getting the whole car corner balanced. But right now, let's get the fuel pumps in the fuel cell. All right, so fuel cell is in, all the Fuel Lab pumps are in the nuke cell, and it was a little bit of a process, but we're in now. So final assembly is officially now. Now Eric has to make a tube, a metal 90 here off of this to the fill neck there, and then the vent at the mount as well here, and the whole entire system will be officially done. And then run the dash 10 lines to the expansion tank right here, and then officially the whole entire fuel system and coolant system will be donezo. And then after that, it's time for some BC shocks, some small wiring, first start up with the setup, and then corner balance and go from there. Okay, we're back. This video is kind of all over the place. Like I always say, a lot of stuff's happening, but we do have the Fuel Lab pumps in the Nuke Performance cell, and it looks freaking sick. The entire fuel system is officially mounted in the car, and it looks absolutely beautiful. All right, guys, this car is about 90% done. It is looking awesome. I'm so stoked on it. It's exactly what I wanted and more. All fresh and new, the new fuel cell, new CSF radiator, all the good stuff. The wiring is all done. ECU master PMU was in, the dash, keyboard, everything. Engine, plumbing is done. Intercooler is all ready to go. Oil cooler, power steering cooler, all the above. It just looks really nice. It looks kind of the same, but different in the front. I also have my True Focus Fab bash bar, re-powder coated by Dylan at Ultimate Powder Coatings. He has been doing a ton of work for me, making this thing look brand new. This is powder coated by him. The bar's powder coated by him. All this piping's powder coated by him. Everything in this car is powder coated is basically by him now. So it's making this whole process easy. He's local to Claremont. He has done all the powder coating, this one too, just everything. We'll do a video with him soon. Of course, this as well, and this and that. Everything's powder coated by Ultimate Powder Coatings by Dylan over there, good friend of mine from high school, and now we're doing cool stuff years later. So, yeah, this video is probably gonna be over now. I'm pretty sure we have some stuff coming. We have repaired panels here that are gonna go on the car, maybe after tuning. We have BC shocks here as well. That'll probably be the next video. It's just a long process, and the next video, we should be able to start this thing. It's ready to start right now. We're just waiting on Freddie. He's very busy right now with Adam's stuff. So I'm gonna worry about some miscellaneous things. And I might honestly put the new seat in for the end of the video, actually. Let's do that real quick. We'll get the seat in real quick, and then we will end the video after that. All right, brand new Sparco Evo seat installed, as well as some brand new Simpson harnesses. Fresh new for the season, looks great. And we needed that seat because my other seat was old. It would not pass tech. So in the next video, I'll get the driver's seat in, and then we'll be good to go for that. But I can't install that until I do some stuff back there with the battery, and I can't really reach with the seat in. So, all right, video is officially over. A lot of stuff got done this video. Huge progress on the car. The car is basically done mechanically. And now we're just waiting on some small miscellaneous things. In the next video, this car will be running once again on the same engine as last season, to tune on the Link as a backup. And once this engine's tuned on the Link, we're gonna pull this engine out, put the new 3/4 stroker in, tune that, then start testing and developing, getting all the data we need for Formula Drift this year. But whew, it's a mouthful, guys. It's a lot of work, but I am so excited. The car looks so good. And then once we get the body panels back on here, it's gonna look even better with a new livery for 2026. So all in all, I'm very excited. I'm trying to give you guys as much content as possible. Hope you liked the video. I'll see you guys very soon.